I had a dream that I was ready to apologize to E. They said things I deserved to hear. But there was a misunderstanding of why I stopped talking to them, and no one was working it out. It made me more sad than I already was. I think I really need to apologize to him. I had a dream that Louie, my friend's dog, died. I remember how A would talk about his dog and how painful it was to bury him. I didn't know how to console him because I was also incredibly distraught. We were in disbelief. We couldn't talk at all. We just sat in silence. I just remember the feeling more than anything else. I had a dream that I was with my brothers, and all of a sudden, we started to be attacked at every angle. I watched my brothers be shot, and there was nothing I could do to save them. I tried to run and protect them, but there was nothing I could do. The dream ended with me holding my youngest brother in my arms while he bled out. I had a dream where my father committed suicide. I had a dream that my parents split up, and my dad went to a rich house with his new girlfriend who had mean kids around my age, and I really resented all of them. I had a dream I was in the car with A, E, B, and M. We were in my hometown driving to my house to have pizza. We noticed that there were 2 cars parked in the roundabout, and there were 2 women screaming at each other. We just wanted to go home, so I drove on the side of the road. I had a dream that featured a type of creature called Professor Adieu. It's like a 3-foot-tall plastic Santa Claus that is dressed in Santa-themed military gear. They wait in the trees, and if you go near them, they either jump down and kill you or just run away. I had a dream Em and I were hanging out on my bed watching a movie. I held up my arms, and they immediately came to cuddle. I was singing along to the song in the movie, and Em blushed. I ended up on my hands and knees with Em underneath me. They had one hand on my cheek, and we were so close to kissing, but we didn't. It was like we were playing chicken with our mouths. Instead, we just kept cuddling. I had a dream where my family was staying in some cabin, and everyone woke up in the middle of the night and went to the living room area. All the decor that was previously there had vanished, not fallen off the walls, just gone. In the corner was floating what looked to be a Halloween decoration. It was an old woman, or so I thought, but when she turned around, she was wearing an Oni mask. So we called someone to come take care of it. A therapist showed up. He looked like Sigmund Freud and didn't step foot in the house. He just talked to the ground with his clipboard. He told us to leave. I had a dream where my dad called me by my preferred name. I had a dream where I was in Target on the hunt for Skylanders. I found this previously opened box that had more Skylanders than the regular amount, so I took it to the checkout. The checkout girl was playing League of Legends, and I just spent 2 hours waiting for her to finish. She tried showing me how to play, and I just got so upset until eventually she rang me up. I have no idea who she was. I had a dream about the kind gentleman pointing to the new horse stable, a white speck in the distance, inside a grotto with wood lattice painted white with vines. I had won the fall festival competition, and that little park bench and awning were my gifts in the small dirt-paved plaza. People were in a hurry to get out of there, apparently since the next festival was coming so soon. The gentleman was very happy about his estate. He's charming, but there's something missing for me to be truly attracted to him. Women believe him to be a Prince Charming, but he isn't my knight in shining armor. The couch in the living room was being moved. It was a massive thing. I only wanted to head to the restroom. Why are people awake at this hour? Everyone else is sleeping in their beds, all covered by their thin sheets so I don't disturb them. The couch is ornate, antique, and probably 4 times my size. It fell on me, but it was surprisingly light. The small little servants were moving it somewhere. I was only coming down the stairs when I found them. All of the bathrooms were put out of commission. It was so hard to navigate the palace. I had a dream that started out with me talking to my mother. She didn't look sickly. In fact, she looked pretty healthy. She started arguing with my sister, and I tried to defend her by keeping very passive agreements and trying to help my mother understand. She just started yelling at the two of us. Things escalated to my sister picking up glass and cutting her hand. My mother wasn't alarmed and had no visible reaction. The dream ended with me crying and going to sleep in my bed to escape everything. I woke up on edge. I had a dream that a British family was living in my house for some reason, and the youngest daughter, about 13, was possessed by something. Her hair would start turning from brown to black whenever she started having a demonic episode, and a weird shadow would come over her face. Another therapist was called, but this time there were 2 people, the therapist and her assistant. After their initial visit, they started talking about a treatment plan. I was confused as not much had changed about the girl. I had a dream about the jam man who makes strawberry jam. I was afraid to go into the forest because that's where my sister was. She guarded something and was going to attack me if I approached. It was like an apparition of her. I wanted something from this jam man. I think I wanted to see his house and his knickknacks. The giant firebird scared away all the wolves that were going to attack me. The jam man looked familiar. I had a dream that me and my friends were what was like an empty version of my aunt and uncle's old house. My friends and I were somehow turned into these purple and yellow bipedal dog things. We had sex, and all the while I just felt bad that I didn't ask or tell my partner beforehand. I had a dream that I was in a room with my 2 aunts, grandmother, and mother. I had just been downstairs with kids from my middle school who were wearing uniforms, and My sister, Dad, and I sat and talked with them. There was this mean lady with white hair, and she didn't talk. My grandmother gave me a jar where I had to squish a raisin in the vase, and it was hard to get my hand into it. Then I had to read a pamphlet on how to accept death and have suicidal thoughts. I had a dream about a magenta pink froyo monster that was goopy and had eyes on long stems and some sort of dark pink chopped nut texture that was its skin. It was pink and gloopy and an eyeball mass. It had one central eye tentacle that kept looking at me. I had a dream that I was in some house with my friend H and some of my extended family and also some random people. We were all playing games and I was trying to figure out how long H would be in town. Then one of my friends showed me a video of them and H smoking without me. I had a dream that my friend uploaded a post called "Let's Die." There was a list of 10 ways that they wanted to die. You could click on each of them and see why they wanted to die in that particular way and in general. It made me so sad I started crying. I had a dream that felt like a daydream. My ex came down with a disease and passed away from it. I remember standing in an open area. I was standing in front of their twin, C. I couldn't wrap my head around what had happened. C and I just stood there, looking at each other, crying silently. We were inconsolable, but we're still there for each other, even if neither of us spoke a word. I had a dream that my old place of work was having a 10-year anniversary party, and it was my last day. Everyone was coming in as I was cleaning out my locker. D came in and was looking for me because he was excited to see me. I was carrying a bunch of textbooks and paint for some reason. I had to walk around a giant building to get to my car, and it took me a while. I had a dream where I was trapped in like a big sports bar complex. There were a ton of giant brewery tanks and tubes, and the entire floor was just a football field with white lines on a bright green floor. There were booths and tables, but everyone just sat on stools or stood cheering at the TVs. Somehow, all of the conservative drunk people could sniff out that I was a leftist and began hunting me because I am just one person and they are a drunk, angry mob. Somehow, I was jumping and avoiding them like a monkey until they cornered me from both sides on a bridge. At that point, I woke up out of fright. I had a dream where I went to Starbucks and Jay was there. And it turns out we were in an airport. Jay immediately disappeared after we spoke. I had a dream where I had sex with this beautiful red-haired woman. The entire time, I just felt guilty that I didn't ask my partner first. I felt like I was cheating. I had a dream where my old high school teacher yelled at me for not graduating high school yet, that I still had to take an art class. I could never get up on time, so my attendance was poor. The class was composed of my old middle school mutuals. I had a dream that my grandpa died. Me and my sister were still in high school, waiting for our dad to pick us up. We were forced to go to the funeral and see the family that we hate. I had a dream where we were driving on a country road and I found a baby fox kit that I had to save. I had a dream that I was kidnapped by someone and me, my brother, and sister had to escape without getting eaten. The kidnapper turned out to be my college professor. I was hanging out with M. He was wearing this red dress and red lipstick. We were walking to my apartment and I had my arm around his lower back. I was able to spin him around smoothly. Then, they pulled me in close and asked if they could kiss me. I said yes, and we shared a peck, and then a much longer kiss.